Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with a Marvel Snap live stream. This season has started off incredibly back and forth. With Zabu coming out, there has been so much variation and fluctuations in what the next meta deck is going to be. And I've had a lot of fun testing out new and different builds. And one of the most fun builds that I've had that really either makes me feel really big-brained or really small-brained is the deck that I ran by the mod in our Discord, Pilk Enjoyer. And so thank you everyone that has made it to the live stream. Voljay, or Harry, Astros, Pilk, Dad, Jeremiah, Tonelock, Roman, and Sowery. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me whenever I haven't been live very consistently. And then Pilk, he said Pilk Enjoyer is a bit of a weirdo, but he makes some killer decks. I can't get behind Pilk. I don't know. I don't know that I can do it. And then Mason, Blue, Clement, Max, thank you guys for being here. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day so far. And we're gonna switch over into the deck explanation screen real quick. I'll give you a real brief rundown. If you're watching this after the fact and you want a more detailed, like structured video on it, I did do a video. The link will be in the description. But this is the Pilk Enjoyer deck. It is designed around if you draw into Zabu, it's fantastic. It does really great things. If you don't, it still has lines of play to be able to win. And so if you draw Zabu, you can do your Rock Slide and Moon Girl in the same turn. You could do Rock Slide and your Hawk. You could do Rock Slide and then bounce it back into your hand. And then if you don't, you can do a play line with Devil Dino. And I have heard some people say that Enchantress or Rogue can really hurt this list, but a lot of times your Zabu is going to be bait for that ongoing on that ongoing trigger. So if they use Enchantress on your Zabu, it's not that big of a deal. You have plenty of other play lines to go with. And so let's see if I misorder the Mystique in this stream. I'm going to switch over to a couple of games and then we'll catch up on chat. I appreciate you guys being here, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. Jason, Haki, Joyboy, and then Tonelock, thank you guys for being here. Pirate Dad, he said, hey, TLSG, you got to go to work soon, but wanted to pop in and say, hey. Hey, Pirate Dad, I appreciate you jumping in, and I hope that you hit the like button. If not, I understand. I hope you have a great day at work, and you can always catch up on this on the stream on demand afterwards. And so let's go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. We're starting at rank 87, so not too bad. We've been consistently climbing with all of the different decks that we've been trying. It's been a slow climb. It's been a little bit of back and forth, but overall it's been a pretty good upward travel. Infinite next week. I'm hoping to hit Infinite pretty quickly. I'm trying out a couple of different builds. I have one that feels really good that I think I'm going to showcase tonight. It's a take on a Shuri build, and it feels really good. And so hopefully I can climb to Infinite. I'm not as quick as you hitting it in the first day, but hopefully we'll hit it this week. That way I can start focusing on just trying out and experimenting some different builds without that kind of pressure of dropping down. And then Cody Allen and Jacob, how's it going, guys? Thank you for jumping in and joining us. Is it the She-Hulk Shuri one? It is. It's a version of a She-Hulk Shuri, but it runs Zabu and a couple of other cards. Have you seen it somewhere, Pilk? Yeah, we discarded the Devil Dino. They discarded their arrow, though, so we know that they're not going to be able to yank our cards around. We lose a little bit of our consistency, but if we can draw into one of our other play lines instead, so Hawk is going to be a huge enabler here to be able to try and find our win. Uncle Brode. Good old Uncle Brode. Good old Uncle Ben. I can't believe I just completely I misunderstood the question about the card. I thought we were talking about Brode instead of Uncle Ben. I've seen a Shuri deck with She-Hulk going around, haven't tried it, but also have your own two Shuri decks that I like that you prefer. I really like Shuri. Shuri was what I climbed with last season to get to Infinite, and it felt really solid for the most part. We don't have a great play line. I think I'm just gonna Black Widow and then bounce it back into our hand. That way we can disrupt them for the last 2 turns. And then Lesk. In this deck, I think Dark Hawk is needed. I don't think it's needed to climb, but I think it is one of the more consistent cards right now. So if you're picking, I think it's probably one of the top few Series 5 cards. So if you're picking between them, I think it's a good investment, because I don't think it's going to get moved down to Series 4 anytime soon. So we do have the Agent Collusion. We can do Black Widow again and the Agent Collusion. I think we do Black Widow and then we'll do Collusion over to the right. Hey Fanchi, how's it going? Sorry, I've been having trouble with the Tempo Shuri deck I used last season. I haven't really played it much. So I made a few tweaks to the Shuri deck that I ran before, but I think with how much we're starting to see like Silver Surfer resurface and some of those cards. Yeah, yeah, Dad. The mispronunciation is, this time it's intentional. Before it was not. It was not intentional at all before. I think we just lose this one. We lose this one to a leader play, or just any kind of good counterplay. We're gonna leave out of this one. Yeah, this draw was not great. It was not a great start for it, but we did only lose 1 cube. A lot of this season has been being able to identify when you can tactically retreat or when you can actually win the 8 cubes. Yeah, we didn't get any of the 4 costs that time. But the best Series 4 card besides She-Hulk. The one I've used the most would be the Absorbing Man. Are we losing? Yeah, we started off negative, but it wouldn't be a true TLSG stream unless we start out going a little bit negative and then we have to climb back just to get to a positive one. But I think the top Series 4 card would probably be Absorbing Man besides She-Hulk. He's really flexible in being able to get used in a lot of different lists. I think Titania is okay, but she can stab you in the back. She's really difficult to use. And then we have Luke Cage. He's cool, but a lot of times he's just okay. What are the other ones? We have Helicarrier, Skip. We have M'Baku, which is good for a Cerebro 2 deck list, but otherwise Skip. Agent Coulson is good in this list, but otherwise I haven't seen him used very much. I think he's okay. Maria Hill is decent in like a tempo deck. And then we have Orca coming out in the next patch, and I think he's going to be a pass as well. So I think we're going to do our Rock Slide. Next turn we can beast him back into our hand because we do have the Elysium reduction here. It's either that or we try to push for destroying their Sunspot here. Depending on if they drop a card into Warrior's Fall, if they let Sunspot absorb some energy, I think we may even play something like Abomination or the Thing over into Warrior's Fall to make sure that this gets destroyed. Yeah, I think we're gonna force the destruction of their Sunspot. That way they can't absorb anymore. Oh, Atuma? Atuma is okay. He's okay in like a Shuri list. But for this season, with the reduction that he gets from Zabu, I think he's a little bit better than he's niche, but I think in the deck that he's good in, I think he's really, really good. So we could either do our Devil Dino here, which I think is probably our better play line. We could do the Devil Dino instead of the Abomination. That way we at least have a decent power push in Warrior Falls. It will destroy their Sunspot. Even if they skip here, the Warrior Fall trigger happens before the turn ends. So we're going to lock in the Devil Dino, and then we'll see. Patch this week or not. It was supposed to be a couple of days ago, but I guess they ran into a bug. They said it shouldn't be longer than a week to fix, but we don't know for sure. I think Absorbing Man only fits in Zabu decks right now. Yeah, without that, he was kind of tough to use. He is flexible. I like him in a junk deck because he has a lot of good targets in like a Hazmat, in a Debris, but I think outside of that, he is kind of niche as well. You've refused to get any cards for 6 cost? Yeah, I think Hawk is a pretty good one. Yeah, we do want to protect the Dino because they do have the Shuri coming down, which is going to be a big play on their end. We could bounce these cards back in with our Beast. We could have Hawk on the board as the last card that we play. That way, if we draw into Mystique, we can play Mystique to copy it. Hey, Pilk Enjoyer. I appreciate the support. I'm glad that we were thinking the same play line, especially since you created and have navigated this list a little bit better than I have. But I think that's the play line I want to go with. It's either that or doing the Moon Girl, but how will you rank all the pool 5 cards? I think Sentry is probably close to the bottom. They have the 30 power. They have the 30 power Red Skull, which is tough. And so now they can do this could be a Taskmaster, right? Because they dropped it on 4 when they had 5 energy to play. Even with a maxed out Devil Dino, we're not going to win this one. I think we lose the Atlantis lane. Yeah, they could Zola into the Red Skull. Yeah. This one, we don't have, we have a good power push. We have a decent play line. We have plenty of cards to make sure that we sacrifice to protect the Devil Dino. But with the Shuri play line, unless we have a way to hard counter it, we're gonna take the 1 cube loss and jump back into and trying to find a better matchup. The Series 5 cards, Jason, I haven't actually looked at what the new Series 5 cards are. I will soon. I'm going to try and pull them as soon as they're released, but I haven't looked at their effects. I think Sauron was one of them, and I don't know the other ones. That's the only one that kind of stood out to me. Yeah, with no Mystique in that one, that was going to be our big secondary push, and so that one wasn't going to be... I don't think that one was winnable. And it's only 1 cube. It takes 8 retreats to 8 1 cube retreats to go even if you just win even one 8 cube match. And so it's much it can be frustrating to make a lot of retreats in a row. But some games you're going to match up against decks that are just unwinnable. You have to be able to pull the trigger and retreat when you need to be able to climb pretty consistently. Hey Ricky, how's it going? I'm so glad that you're here, that you're able to jump in and join us, and that you're enjoying the content. So the last location is Asgard. They use Black Widow. We are gonna play that. I think we go with Zabu here. Actually, I'll play the Widow's Bite into the far right because we might invest the Hawk into Asgard after this turn, just as a way to make sure that we win that location. And I don't want to fill it up too much. That puts us at an easy lane cap for a debris or anything else. But we do I like the Hawk in Asgard to make sure we get the draw. But we got the Rock Slide, which is tempting as well. We might do Rock Slide into Hawk over here. Next turn we can do Beast to pull it back in. Enrique, I wonder which one the real Mysterio is. There's no telling. I do like guaranteeing that we get the draw with the Hawk. That's going to protect the cards in their deck, which in turn will make sure that the Hawk is bigger. And Rhine God, welcome. I'm glad you're able to jump in and join us. Yeah, it does suck retreating for 1 a lot, but if you win 2 or 4, then you put yourself in a lot better. Mystique X Mansion, then Beast Rock Slide? Oh no. Oh no, we're choking, right? Apparently I can't figure out the play order, so we're gonna go with this. I do think that was the better play line, just so that we had the Mystique. But oh no, the next turn? Okay. Okay. So they use the Rock Slide of their own, so they're using a Hawk deck. We did drop Hawk as the last card that we played. So we could do Mystique into the X Mansion to copy our Hawk. We can bounce the Rock Slide back in. And then next turn we could do something big as a supporting last turn play, like the Hawk into a Widow. Actually, Widow on the last turn won't do anything. We could do the Beast or the Rock Slide into Korg if we needed to. Maybe we look for a Devil Dino playline instead. I kind of want to snap into this one. We get our 1 cube back. It's all you have to do is be patient enough to find some big cube gains, and then you are climbing. As long as you can avoid the big cube losses, then we're good. And then good morning, Dr. Megawitz. I am still having fun with Zabu. I think the way I've had the most fun with Zabu is that you use him for at most like 1 turn. If you use him for more than that, you're putting yourself at risk of a rogue and enchantress. But if you lean on it for at max, 1 or 2 turns, then you can get a lot more value out of it, especially if they decide to enchantress it and you've already got the value that you intended to get out of the card. So I'm having fun with finding ways to build it and build it up where it is a little bit more, a little sneakier to play. I like the Black Widow playline, but it also gives them a free resource into the raft is my only hesitation. I almost want to do Korg instead. What time is it there? Widow is the play? We'll go with Widow. It is 10:18, so it's not quite a lunch live stream for me, but for some people it's lunch. You hardly play raft? I wasn't pushing for the raft. I was pushing... My hesitation with Widow was that it gives them a free resource to play into the raft. And so... But it looks like maybe they're going a Mr. Negative list. Oh, Murder World's kind of tough too. So we can... Are we just letting them have the... Hey, Joy Boy, welcome. I am so glad to have you as a channel member. The notification should go off in just a second.
Hey, welcome. It took you long enough.
If you refresh, you'll have a list of our current emojis. Once we get back to a more consistent stream, we'll be able to start unlocking some more, hopefully. So Pilk, would you bounce back these cards into your hand this turn so you get the disruption again? And just give them the free 6-cost card? Johnny, how's it going? My man is looking good today. Thank you so much, Johnny. Any replacement for Beast and Coulson? So Beast is pretty good. In Coulson, you could switch it for something like a Bishop, just because you are typically playing quite a bit. But Beast, I think, is really strong. I don't think he's core. You could do anything else that's going to add either cards to your hand or theirs. It's hard since I always lost Raft with this deck anyways. Oh, okay. Well, they are now capped out in this location, which is good, right? I don't think they have any way to play any more power into the Raft. So they pushed really hard to get the Raft card. And now we can just kind of freely play around it. We can add more disruption to them. We can do Widow and Korg here. That's going to give us 5 power, unless they do some... Actually, that's a terrible use of our energy, right? Do we go ahead and play Hawk? Or we could double down on the disruption with our Moon Girl. Maybe we'd do Moon Girl instead. That'll give us 2 Hawks. We could use one... or stack them into Murder World, because this is a low power push. And then we have 2 Black Widows to play as well. I like that use of our turn a little bit better. They will have the free 6-cost card resource, so we'll need to really push into one of these other 2 lanes, unless they have a way to buff this lane up. We'll really need to lean into one of these 2 lanes to find the win, so I think the double Hawk is going to be probably our best bet. We can give them at least 1 Widow's Bite. 2 doesn't really help all that much, because we already get the use from Black Widow here anyways. Or do we do Sarah? Sarah would only reduce this down to 3, and so we could do the double Hawk in next turn anyways. And so if we do, I guess we could do, yeah, you're right. We could do the double Hawk on turn 6. That way we can strategically position it. I do like that a little bit better. I was thinking if we did Widow and then 1 Hawk, we could copy it or play the other one next turn. But that puts the power out on the board where they can maneuver around it a little bit easier. They might do the double Spider-Man. Does a double Spider-Man? They might. Yeah, if they do the double Spider-Man, we just retreat. Yeah. Oh no. I don't know that we would have beat a... Okay, so the Moon Girl. Okay, so we're okay. The Wong is a little bit scary though. What could they be running with their Wong? They do have the free 6-cost cards, so now they have 2 of them. Do they have anything that buffs up their hand, or buffs up the cards on the board? It would have to be something like an Ironheart or a Silver Surfer, and this doesn't look like a Silver Surfer build. I think we probably end up losing this one. They could have Ironheart, but I haven't seen anything else. They have 6 in their deck, so each of these are going to be 13 power. They haven't played any other 3-cost cards, so it doesn't look like a Silver Surfer or Ironheart. They could. They haven't snapped, so I don't think they're too confident. This could, I mean, they could just be trying to swindle us out of 1 extra cube. You think we need more power in mid, Pilk? Leary, hey TLSG, just watching while in a break at work and wanted to tell you how dope your content is. Love the format, love the attitude, and love that you shout out your opponent's name. It all brings me joy. Thank you so much, Leary. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the content. One Hawk is right? I don't know. I don't know. It might have been. So there's the one, oh, there's the double Hawk. Oh, and the... Oh, they got Null from the raft. I was like, what is a Null doing in this deck? So the double Hawk turned out to be okay. I think... I don't know. I think the one Hawk and Rock Slide would have been decent as well. We'll take the cubes where we can. But that is an awful resource that they got from the raft. Without a destruction tool, I'm sure they were so disappointed to see that. Exodus, I really like the way you explain every move you want to make. It's because I think there's a couple of ways to do content. I think there's one where you're just where you're a personality, and you know people enjoy the personality. I'm not necessarily a magnetive. I don't have a magnetic personality in general, and so really my strength lies in being able to like talk through that thought process. So we're going against Jeff, so we'll see. I want to snap back, but I'm gonna hold back. I'm not gonna snap back, at least until we know a little bit better about what we have. Hard disagree. You're very entertaining. I have a dry sense of humor, so and we all love your personality. Thank you guys. At least that was my thoughts whenever destroy him. Okay, Dad, we're gonna try. We're gonna try our best. So we're gonna go Korg into the Black Widow in Lemuria, and that will add a little bit of disruption. And then we're looking to Agent Coulson, Rock Slide, maybe a Beast to bounce those back. Paulo, hey man, let me ask, do you feel that free-to-play could get infinity with every season pass? I think it's becoming harder and harder. I think before it was relatively easy, but I think it is definitely becoming much harder to do. So they are running... Oh no, it's a regular deck. We just stopped them from drawing. I'm going to Beast these 2 back into our hand. And then next turn we could do all 3 into Kiln. Or we could do just Rock Slide. But I think we do all 3 into Kiln, just to add some more disruption for him. So he does have the Zabu. We're going to try our best. He could be going for the lockdown list. It could be a Spider-Man lockdown. So it's either we do the Black Widow again, or we do Rock Slide to add even more rocks into his deck. Because next turn we will probably want to go... Was watching Jeff's stream and saw you pop up. Salnev, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. You're gonna play you'd play Rock Slide and Korg. Okay, we'll add the 3 more rocks into his deck. We're gonna add some company. So the Moon Girl does come down. He has a hand size of 4 right now, so he could be going for it could be the double Spider-Man lockdown. Double Spider-Man lockdown is going to be tough if that's what he's going with. I don't feel like Victor. I feel like Snap doesn't get me angry. Hearthstone is way more stressing. Hearthstone can be really stressing. You haven't used Sarah? Play Dino mid? Are we going to protect from the double Spider-Man lockdown? Then we can always Coulson on the last turn to buff up our Devil Dino's hand a bit if they don't go with the lockdown here. We're going to trust in Pilk. In Pilk we trust. So the Rock Slide comes down, which is interesting, because that was 2 cost, and it was created by Moon Girl. So they have another one too. They have at least one more Rock Slide. I don't think we can do Agent Collusion in Lemuria. We could do Coulson. That's going to give us a 6-card hand. It's going to add 3 more power into the sewer system. Black Widow doesn't do much for us. Do we lose against a Hawk, though? Or, I guess a double Hawk? So he Moon Girled when he had Rock Slide, and he snapped off the bat. So maybe he had a good starting hand. We have 5 cards in deck. Each one is 10. Each one would be 11 if he did the double Hawk play. I guess he could do Hawk, Hawk, Rock Slide. So each one would be, what, 14? I think we lose this one. Kenneth, always nice content, very helpful. Yeah, I think we lose this one for sure. Because even the double Hawk, which right now would be 11, it's going to be 20 power here, which would put us at 25. Nah, we're going to retreat out. I wanted to stay for the content, but I also don't want to make a highlight reel doing the wrong play. And I think retreating there was the right play. You can watch this match on Jeff's stream. Rival retreat opportunity. Yeah, I think it's only not -2. And the only reason I would have stayed, in that one was because it's Jeff. So I was trying to think of what I would do if it was anybody else. And in that opportunity or that position, I think the retreat was the more tactical play line. Hey TLSG, I'm so glad I was finally able to tune in on time. Love your content and appreciate the help you've given me to climb. Do you usually stream early? I usually stream around this time for around an hour to 2 hours during my lunch break. And so I guess to answer your question, yeah, I normally stream early. Oh, did he really? Me and Jeff haven't had any kind of interaction. So like, I'm my own worst critic. So I was always under the impression that he just had no liking for me. Was the impression that I got, because we haven't interacted at all. Whereas I've interacted with some of the other streamers. So it's nice that I'm glad you let me know that he gave me a great shout out. Neither of you knew what deck the other was playing. He top decked hard and you did a good retreat. Yeah, and Stan, I know he's pretty chill, but at the same time he is very opinionated, and he's not afraid to show those opinions. So sometimes it can be intimidating, especially as a creator. But I think he does a lot of really good builds, a lot of great content, and so I don't have any negative things to say about him. I think we could go the double Hawk here, or the double Black Widow, but I think we play the Hawk instead. It looks like maybe a Death Wave, and so we want to play our cards before turn 6. You'd Moon Girl? Max, Jeff can definitely not be chill at times. There are some times where he can definitely be not chill. You would Moon Girl here? I was thinking play 1 Hawk, and then next turn we could Mystique to copy the Hawk plus play the double Black Widow. Oh wait, never mind. So I think we're going to push for the Kunlun location. Next turn we'll do Mystique first, and then we'll do Black Widow. Wendigo, it's midnight in my country and I can finally catch you live stream. Wendigo, I hope to eventually do some more consistent streams. I am glad that you were able to. I am glad you were able to tune in and catch us. Dad, you said, yeah, I hated Jeff until I kept coming back to his streams and videos and ended up liking him. Yeah, there's sometimes, like, if you tune in at the wrong moment, it's just like he's blunt, I think, and that doesn't always rub well with everyone. So, but no, overall, I think he's very analytical. I think he does a lot of good stuff. Wired, yo, TLSG, check your Twitter inbox when you get a chance. Wired, I'll check it after this game. And actually, I think I know what it is. I'll check it after this one. And then, hey TLSG, did you think Hawk is the best Series 5 card? I think. Are we lagging? I think Hawk is one of the. I think Hawk is one of the strongest Series 5 right now. I think probably that, and then maybe. I think that, and then maybe. Then maybe Shuri is another one. You said Jeff is way better with Snap than he was with Magic, since he doesn't hate playing the game. That's true. And then Lord Voldemort, always catching it on my lunch break when you do go live. I'm gonna try and do it more consistently. It's just I jump back into work mode and it. Did we lose to the double leader? Shuri is very versatile. The death is incoming, and then maybe a leader as well. So death and then leader could be. I don't think we can match up against it. I think this is another retreat. Stansu, yeah, haven't seen you in good bit. Good to see you back. I'm glad to be back. It's been a couple of things. So it's been just finding the time. Work has been really crazy, and I've had to take on a few extra responsibilities. And then. Just with everything that was going on in the personal life, it was a barrier to overcome for sure. I had such a terrible time trying to rank up last season. Got dropped to the dreaded rank 10 this season, but have gained 300 cubes so far. That's huge, Dr. Megawitz. And so we're gonna take the 1 cube. Let's check the. Let's actually. Wired, do you mind if I share it? I guess we'll play one more while I wait for Wired to respond. One day you'll get a good draw plus Zabu in hand. That's all we need is one good play, one good draw. Sergeant Licks, glad to have caught you live again. Love from Europe. I'm glad that you were able to jump in and join us, especially without having a consistent stream or consistent schedule. I greatly appreciate all of you guys that were able to jump in. Are you close to make this a full-time job? I don't know, Joel. So I would still need to grow more. And maybe some of the extra income could be offset by streaming. But the issue that I have is that I don't know how consistent it'll be. So like we're still right off the tail end of launch. And so right now, maybe. But does it drop off in a couple of months is my concern. And so if it continues, I think that would be completely viable. I could do like the full, I could do the full like stream, so a lot longer streams. And you're drawing Zabu on turn 3. We didn't, Pilk. What was your highest viewer count while streaming? I think we got 700. I want to say that we got close to 1,000, but the one that stands out in my mind was 700. So we could do Korg plus Psylocke to do an early Sarah, which I like. And then after turn 4, the locations are going to switch. So I'm actually going to push over here. Don't give up a career for a hobby. Yeah, unless it was very, very viable Astros and it was very consistent. That's my thoughts exactly. I would Korg plus Sarah, or Korg plus Psylocke to Sarah on 5. Yep. Or on 4. Yeah, I always get that wrong. Does data analytics does pay well. It really does. For the amount of like stress or like workload, it does stream, or it does pay pretty well. I think if you stream 6 to 8 hours and make sure to keep up with other games and stay on the hype, you'd be fine. Yeah, I think so, but I also want to make sure that it's not going to put me or my family at in a bind. Stan, your data analytics too. I'm always surprised with how many people we have here that are in data analytics. Yeah, and I think for like the secondary income, because I'm using that to Tableau all day. Yeah, we use Tableau a decent amount. We've switched over into a couple of other systems as well, and so it's just navigating those systems. It's hard to give up on the long-term prospects of a more conventional career. It is. I think it would be more freeing if I was able to do content creation, but I think the consistency is where that issue lies. So I think we're gonna do rock slide. Oh, you think rock slide and collusion? Coulson. Oh yeah, that's true. We can't do both Hawk and. We can do Coulson. That'll give us another 4 cost card, so we can do Dark Hawk. We can do Hawk plus another one of those cards. I think that is the best play line for us. They used a single Spider-Man. They could do an Absorbing Man, and it went into the Dracula lane, so I don't know that we want to compete for that anyways. So if they're going to discard the Infinite over there, we'd want to make sure that we could beat 20 power. Yeah, especially for having children. Having the guaranteed is big. Switching to content creation is a real tough pill to swallow when you have kids and a wife. Yep. So both me and my wife have insurance, and so like she could switch over to that, but I think it'd put a lot more stress on it. Like right now, content creation for me is really fun, and I think it'd put a lot of pressure on making sure that I made money from it. Whereas now, if a video doesn't do well, then it's okay. And so yeah, it's something that I've looked at, but I don't know. It'd be something we'd have to look at to make sure that it's consistent first. Does she support content creation? She does, just because it's something that I really enjoy. So not that she necessarily she doesn't really like games or anything down that line. She just knows that I really enjoy doing this, and so she supports me because it's something I enjoy. I'm wondering if we do the Hawk and the Typhoid Mary. So they have 7 in their deck. I think we might lose this one. Do we double down on the left side, anticipating the Infinite? Because Hawk is going to be 14 after the reduction from Typhoid Mary, and then this would be another 10. And then they're going to have to invest in all 3 lanes to find the win. We're going to lock that one in. Never mind. We're going to lock in the 1 cube win. Does she play Snap? Is she better than you? She actually has never played a single game of Marvel Snap. And I've talked about it. I've talked about it a lot. And it's one of those where it's my hobby, but not hers. And so she's like, yep, that's cool. I'm glad that you enjoy it. But most of what I say kind of goes over her head. And so what I wanted to check with, yeah, we got that 1 cube. But what I wanted to check with Wired first was that they reached out to me on Twitter, I think a little bit over a week ago. It was just before New Year's, with just as a kind of friendly, thank you for the content creation. If I can get the package open, I'll switch over. Just as a thank you for content creation, let's switch over to the cam view. And with their thank you, they wanted to just kind of show some appreciation for the content and the videos and things that I was doing. Oh man, I'm really struggling with this. May have to go get scissors. Is it your unique card? No, I don't have one of those, Pilk. That'd be really cool. If I had a unique card, that'd be really awesome. So it's actually something, and yeah, it was packaged very well wired. Oh man, there we go. Oh no, I thought I had it, but it's just out of the initial. I am gonna have to go get scissors real fast. So I'll be right back. And listen, thank you so much for the super chat.
Love your content. Do you have any tips on how to build a good rogue gambit deck? Thank you and keep on snapping. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face.
So for a good gambit deck, the rogue is what is kind of the rogue and gambit is. They don't normally seem to fit together. Gambit, I think, right now is pretty good with like a discard deck. And so if you do have Zabu, you could do the Wong, the Dracula, and really lean into the Gambit as a way to destroy some of their cards and help you buff up your Apocalypse. I don't know that Rogue really fits into that archetype, though. Wait, today was Willow's last stream? What happened, Sammy? Is he just focusing on other things, or was it too much? Rogue to steal Wongs would be, or Zabus would be okay, but I feel like it'd be very situational. Lockjaw discard with Gambit? Yeah, I definitely like the Lockjaw discard with Gambit, but the two together feel like they'd be tough. He's focusing on other things. So is he still going to be doing content creation, or is he just out of the game entirely? Okay, so I think I finally got it, guys. So I thought I had it. Wired, you weren't kidding. You definitely packaged it very, very well. Johnny, welcome. I'm so glad that you joined us as a channel member. If you refresh the stream, you'll have access to the list of our emojis. And so when Wired reached out, he wanted to send just a thank you for the content creation and just all of the content that he's consumed and enjoyed. And so he wanted to send something, and he collects the. There we go, trying to get the glare off it. He collects the artwork from the creators of the different cards. And so he very graciously, and I'm very grateful that he did. I told him he didn't have to, just that him enjoying the content was enough. But he did send us his copy of the original Dan Hip Lockjaw artwork, which I thought was... Dan Hip is one of my favorite of the artists that work on the cards, and so that's a copy of the card. The black and white is the original art. So this one's a copy of the card after it's been kind of touched up and everything, and then this one is the original artwork. So the black and white one is the original art. Yeah, and so the Dan Hip variants are some of my favorite variants, and I usually lean towards those just because they have such a unique style. And so I'm so appreciative of the original artwork, and I can't thank you enough, Wired. This is phenomenal. I'm gonna find a way to like maybe frame it and put it on that back wall, which will be really small. So maybe I reorganize my setup so that it can be displayed a little bit better. But I am going to put it on display because it is so incredibly generous, Wired. And then Johnny, you said, what's your favorite card and why is it M'Baku? M'Baku's really, I really didn't think M'Baku was going to be good in anything. He's decent in Cerebro too. The Art Germ Lockjaw? What's your favorite Dan Hip? Actually, I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's switch over and see which ones I have. So let's switch back over here. And I don't think there's an easy way to filter into it. And I may not even have. I've used a lot of the Dan Hip stuff in like my thumbnails, just because I think it looks really attractive. It's very eye-catching. You've got to jump to a meeting. See everyone later. Thank you again, Wired. I'm so glad that you were here. I'm so glad that I was able to open it with you on stream. That is something that I wanted to be able to do whenever I got it, and is why I hadn't opened it until just now. But thank you again. Killmonger and Collector are your favorites. Actually, I did get the Killmonger one, just card in game. I got the Killmonger one just recently, and it is a pretty good one. So we have the Killmonger one, which I do like. Yeah, I think that's another good one. I love Art Germ She-Hulk. Okay, I'm not gonna read the rest of that one, Momo. And then again, thank you so much, Wired. And is this the discard deck? Which one? So the discard deck that I ran was, I think, over here. I think I had untitled it because I was testing out a couple of...
Hey, welcome. It took you long enough.
Blue Crust, thank you so much for joining us as a channel member. I'm so glad to have you here. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the content. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. From Dan Hip, all the Art Gym... Art Germ, and Rain Gonzalez as well. I think, yeah, there's a lot of really talented artists that work on some of these variants, and a lot of them look really, really sleek. You like the Dan Hip Iron Man? And we got that one as a free login bonus for like pre-registering, right? I do like the Art Germ stuff as well. Oh no, I didn't get it. If we got it for free, I didn't get it. That deck that Pilk shared in the Discord. Let me pull up Discord. I don't have it pulled up. I'm not seeing it. But I did make a video on it. So if you're looking for the discard deck, then it is definitely still there. Nope, unless you used Apple products. Nope, I haven't. I should have registered on Apple because my wife does, but for whatever reason I didn't. Why won't you claim your ranked rewards? Oh, Cold, actually, I saved it to do it on a stream. I wanted to do it because it's the mystery variant is the only reason I haven't claimed that one. And so I'll claim that after this one. That's actually a good call. And so we're gonna jump back into see if we can get positive. Very positive vibes already. Even if the cubes aren't positive, very positive vibes just from the artwork and just the incredible generosity. And so we'll see if we can get positive cubes to go along with it. Stan Sue, Pog, I was here. The symbiote variants are my favorite, but I've always loved rolling the symbiotes. Yeah, and I didn't get introduced into a lot of this until much later on. So like, I didn't consume a lot of the comics. At least growing up. So my exposure to Marvel and the Marvel universe was the cinematic universe. And so now that I'm playing Marvel Snap, I'm paying more attention to like the movies whenever I watch them, the references, and I got a subscription to the comic service so that I can watch or I can read as many of the comics to catch back up, and I've been enjoying doing that as well. And then Rye Guy, welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to jump in and join us today. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So do we beat... I think we probably should have played the rock slide outright. That would have given them more rocks, more disruption, less likely to draw into their resources. So we know that they don't have a Mr. Fantastic that's going to push power into the Sanctum Sanctorum, but I don't think we win with what we have. It is only one more cube. They didn't snap, so I don't know that they're incredibly confident in it. And so we're going to Dino left, and we'll see. If you never played it, you have to try Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. I haven't. Is it still worth playing? Joey, hey TLSG, first time here in your live stream. Hope you're doing well. Love your content. Joey, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're enjoying the content. I'm so glad to have you. And I want to stream more likely, or I want to stream more frequently. But I am glad that you're able to jump in and catch this one. We did lose a couple more cubes. That's okay. We're still hovering around the same. As long as we're not dropping too much, then it's okay. You should check out the YouTube channel Variant if you're getting into the comics. I've checked a couple, so I'm not sure which channel it was, but it was like the Comic Explained series, and so like some of the backstories, so like Gambit, I watched theirs on Gambit just because he's an interesting character to me, and so I have been checking into a couple of them. I'll check out Variant as well. And so I saved the ranked rewards for the mystery variants. Let's switch over into a screen that you'll be able to see it a little bit better. That one should be good. And then, yeah, I think we have 2 variants to claim. Don't think Beast does much here. He does in certain games. I think he absolutely holds his weight in this list in certain matchups. We are cursed with pixel variants. We have one more. Maybe it won't be a pixel this time. Maybe it'll be something for like Galactus or Hawk or something really cool that we can pull. We're going to believe that it's not going to be another pixel variant. Not a great one either. This one, it has the same issue. I wish it was a Hawk variant. That one would have been really good. So Hulkbuster for me is the same issue as Morph. They can have really cool variants, but whenever it absorbs into... he doesn't stay, does he? No. He absorbs into the other card, and so then you don't really get to appreciate it anyways. Well, that was a bust. I saved him for like a week for nothing. You got Pixel Okoye from your first variant from the past? Yeah. So that's not bad. Sakaar pulled into our Korg, which is not great curve-wise, but is good because they're not going to be able to copy our last turn play. We're in for a risky road here. So they're not going to be able to lead our last turn play, so we at least have the comfort in knowing that. They snapped back, so I am a little bit worried now. But we have our Hawk in hand. We have some solid disruption. We have Agent Coulson to reload our hand for Devil Dino, and so we'll see. They could have an Odin. It could be the ramp version of the leader that has the Odin to retrigger. But if we play our cards out early, then it won't matter as much. And so, why did you both snap? So it could be a Galactus too. They could Galactus one of these other lanes. Or Zola. Zola would be kind of a crazy twist. So I don't know why they snapped. The reason I snapped is a lot of time leader decks, that is their main win condition, is copying that last turn play. So knowing that they didn't have that resource in hand anymore, I went ahead and snapped. And unfortunately they snapped too, so they have something up their sleeve, but we'll see. Mage Boy Jr., gotta go, first time catching you live. Thanks for the great game strategy content. I'm so glad that you were able to catch us. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. So the Moon Knight discarded our Devil Dino, which is kind of unfortunate. We got lucky and drew into the Mystique, which is good. We can do... They're running a Moon Knight... Oh, is it a Hela resummon deck? So Pilk, Atuma is a great symbiote, but do we give up drawing the extra 2 cards? If they draw 2 cards, that's going to weaken our Hawk if we end up playing him down the line. And we don't have Devil Dino to lean on either. Is the reason I was thinking about just dropping Hawk into Asgard. But he is a really big powered he's a really big power in Clintar. Give Iron Man Mystique combo for 5/6. Yeah, they're okay. Well, It looks like they're competing for it as well. So they drew the rock that we sent them with Korg. So we do get the payoff. Sometimes if it is a Hella Casino, sometimes they will run Killmonger. Not very often though. So a lot of times we're pretty safe in that. So do we do Iron Man and then Mystique? Do we do Sarah instead? So if they resummon, they have Gambit that would resummon, so we want to make sure that we at least destroy some of their cards, or we at least have several cards on the board. Pick up the symbiote with Beast and play it somewhere else with your Be a free 10 power card that we could pick up, which is kind of cool. But Sarah means we could do both Iron Man and Mystique strategically placed on the last turn. They wouldn't have a turn to react against it. I like the idea of picking up the symbiote though. I think we're gonna go Sarah, but I think that is a really cool use for Beast would be to pick him back up. Sarah for the double Hawk too. And so which one would be bigger? So the Iron Man is going to double this one and push it to 20. It would double this one, it would push it to 16. The Hawk instead is going to be 11 power. And so if they do Odin, we only have one card left in our deck because of Asgard. So them copying Hawk is not huge. Yeah. Wait, if they Odin their leader? If they Odin, their Hawk would be weak, not ours, right? Because they'd still have 5 cards in their deck. Their Hawk, okay. I think we're gonna go with this line. We did order it correctly, right? Okay. My gosh. So we're gonna do the Hawk into the Mystique into the Hawk. We're gonna compete for these 2 lanes, and we'll see. They do have Captain Marvel that will move across the board. They probably have a Gambit that's gonna be resummoned by Hela, I would imagine. The Doctor Doom, okay. So confused by what this deck was and why they snapped on turn 1. I will take the 8 cubes. I'm glad for that. I'm glad for the 8 cubes. I'm really confused though. Yeah, that's what's confusing me the most, Sowery, is that they double snapped after the leader came down. He was mad his leader got yoinked. Okay, he might have been. He might have been. Yeah, I'm confused with you guys. I'm confused with you. So we do have our Zabu here. We're gonna be able to do maybe Zabu into Coulson, or we could do a Moon Girl depending on what we draw into. I swear I had someone do the same thing against me. Snap on 1. Weak Doom on play 6. Maybe they're trying to steer. They might have been trying to scare me into a retreat. I'll always snap on turn 1 if I ever play against you. Rocky Road. It just messes with my mind at this point. So the peak didn't hurt us except for Coulson. If they're not running, and this one might be snappable. This one might be snappable because if they're running something that doesn't utilize the peak, it could have hurt them. T1 snap to assert dominance. I think instead of an early Zabu, because we don't get a lot of use from it, I think I'm just going to do Black Widow. When I do it, it's just because it's you. Oh, you said you do always. Oh, yeah. Ooh, so the TVA is going to be interesting, unless they have a way to change it. And they could have a... If they had a leader. Leader becomes a 4-cost card, right? They could copy our last turn. Always early Zabu. We should have. We should have Pilk. If they have a leader, they could copy our last turn play with a 4-cost 6-power leader. I'm not going to snap into it, but we will stick it out. We're going to play our Zabu. Next turn, we could do Moon Girl and Rock Slide into Morak. Oh, that actually helps us too. So they played Wave. Because you could have Zabu'd plus to get the free 4 cost. Yeah, that's true. But the Agent Coulson was increased to 4 cost with the peak. Leader's gonna win, yeah. Leader here would definitely win it for him. Rocky Road, got to go to work. Hope to catch your stream on my day off on Monday. I'll try to make sure that we stream on Monday, Rocky Road. Right now I don't have any meetings in place, so I should be able to. We're gonna lose to the leader play, yeah. They did waves. They could do a death. We'll stick it out for the 1 extra cube, but I think we lose this one. The leader mid. Magneto. That's not very neato. Oh no. Oh no. We lose by 1. Cold, is today's stream only going to be this deck? That's chill. I was just wondering if you'd play no turn 6 for your match. Yeah, I can play at least one. I can play at least one before we end the stream. What a Magneto. Yeah, that's Magneto I have found is very disruptive for the 3 cost meta that we're in with like Silver Surfer, or the 3 and 4 cost with Surfer and Zabu. It can really move just about everybody's cards around. And so I'll make sure that we have it built. I'm not sure that we do. But if we don't, I can rebuild it real quick. So I think I'm going to Psylocke into a turn 3 Korg plus Beast to pull both of those back into our hand. That way I can do a 1 cost Psylocke later on, and we can add 2 rocks to his deck. Either that or we Agent Coulson. Maybe we lean more into the Agent Coulson. We don't get a lot from pulling these back in. I think we're going to do Coulson instead. That'll give us a 4 cost and a 5 cost that we can play on curve, which might end up helping us out. Just took care of some work stuff. Back to slacking off. Me too. Me too, Dad. Me too. So we do get Zabu now. We have the 1 4 cost in our thing. I think we Zabu mid. If we can win that one, we'll get some additional resources. We might eventually play Magic, depending on what we draw into. We might Magic to extend. And then, yeah, it is Ordinary Harry. Ooh, so they have the 9 power Brood coming down, so they do win Asgard, which is going to reduce the power of Hawk if we draw into it. Do we want to extend the game here? We're wanting to dig for our Devil Dino. That's going to be our win condition. But if they're running a Silver Surfer list, giving them that extra turn might hurt. But I think we're going to. M'Baku split. That is a dedicated player. Always running M'Baku. I've barely gotten him up to, I think, Epic. I think he's a purple border. He's the absolute powerhouse. It's really funny whenever he jumps out and he can find a win. So like TVA games, I feel like M'Baku gets much more value. But most of the time he's just okay. Ganesh, first time catching your stream. You're my favorite Snap content creator. I've always watched your featured location videos. Helps a lot. Thank you so much, Ganesh. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the content and that you were able to catch us live. As a creator, that's really all that I could ask for, is that you're enjoying the content. He almost got you that Binks game the other day. He did. And I forgot he was in the deck, or else I wouldn't have moved my Nightcrawler. But he almost won that TVA game for us. Sussy Cat, would you prioritize Destroyer over Sarah in the token shop? I don't know that Destroyer with Sandman heavily counters it. Sometimes it's good, but I haven't been able to personally make it work very consistently. So I think before time runs out, we're gonna hawk into. Actually, I think we do Sarah instead. Has Destroyer plus Sandman been solid? I may need to look at it again, Melon. I like having Hawk on the board, but I also, if we draw into Dino, that's going to be our biggest power push because they're only going to have one card in their deck. So Hawk is not really going to do much for us. So they play a second Zabu, which is massive. So that's a 3 cost. That's a 3 cost. So if it's a Silver Surfer build, so it's a unique build for sure. This location was the Icebox Momo. I think this is gonna be a retreat. I think to a Surfer we just lose, yeah. Ordinary Harry, yeah, I've seen some of Ordinary Harry's stuff. This is definitely a unique build. And I have no idea what he's running, and I think just for that, we're going to let it play out. But I do think we're going to lose. I'm going to play a Rock Slide and a Widow over here. If they do a Surfer, that's going to be an extra 6 power. Actually, all their 4 cost. Yeah, Wong, Mystique, Surfer. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to... It's a cool build, but we're not going to risk the cube. We're going to take it. We're going to... He played a triple leader deck for a while. Good for laughs. Yeah, a lot of the stuff is like very off-meta picks that can take people off guard. Neven, how's it going? Neven? I feel like I mispronounced it last time. I'm doing well. I hope that you're doing well as well. Let's play a couple more with this one, and then I'll end it with a couple of no turn 6 for you builds. And then we have Q. I don't know if Q is even in the stream. I haven't seen him in chat. But we're gonna double snap him. Q always makes or breaks our day because we always double snap into Q, and so it's either a really good day or a really bad one. Cube wise, and so we have Q. We have our nemesis. I almost want to Korg into Beast on the Raptors to clear up that space for more impactful stuff. But I also like the idea of doing Korg into Black Widow. So he's running a Thanos deck. So we'll see. Yeah, the cubes are gonna flow. The cubes are definitely gonna flow. With the Thanos deck, if we can find a way to draw into our Hawk, then we win. But we really want to draw into Hawk here because we just get so much extra value from the stones being in the deck. Oh my god, Q is a real person? Q is absolutely... Oh no, Q's a real person. He usually runs really off meta, just kind of like crazy style builds. He ran Leech before the Leech meta was existent. And just he usually runs like really like fun off meta stuff that he's beaten us with more times than I've beaten him. Blake Jones, what's up, TLSG? This is my first time catching you live, and I'm having a blast. Blake Jones, I'm so glad that you're enjoying the stream, and I'm so glad to have you here. I am going to try to stream more consistently or more often. It's just a lot of things kind of popped up that have been making it a little bit more difficult. I'm going to do the Korg into the Black Widow. I think we hold the Raptors for now, just in case we have to go Devil Dino playline. Bruno, hey TLSG, I'm having a lot of success with an impressive Leech Leader Galactus deck, but it just feels dirty. Bruno, I ran a Leech Leader Doc Ock Galactus Galactus deck the other day, and I kind of felt the same way. It was decent. I climbed a little bit, but I lost games because I didn't want to leader I didn't want to Leech because I just felt bad dropping Leech on them, and so I favored like Doc Ock and then pulled into their leeches. But as far as like me as a player, I'd say don't worry about it. Just if it's doing well for you, just absolutely keep running it. If they get beat by Leech enough, then they'll find a way to counter it. But I'm glad that you're having success with it. I say stick to it. Climb however you can climb. With Zabu, I see a lot of discard decks. Yeah, he's really flexible in a discard. I think that's one of his easier shells to run. I ran Leech in my X-Men deck just because I didn't have another thematic card and remembered him from the cartoon. Yep, that's another one. And a lot of decks he's not great in, but there's certain ones that he just absolutely wrecks. So we do have Devil Dino here, but not a great last turn play. I think Coulson is our best bet just to reload our hand. So I think Coulson and a 1-cost card. That way we can still draw into our last resource of the game. It does seem like a loss though. Oh, he's gonna cycle more cards with his Lockjaw. Oh my gosh. We can hope. We can hope that he gets duds all the way through. The Rock is great. Reality Stone changes Necrotia, gives us more energy on the last turn, which is also okay. He only has 2 spots to play in. And then Quidjet. Okay, we will take that in the far right lane. So even if he uses something to buff this card up, I think we can outpace him here. We have the massive power surge from Project Pegasus. Tofu, and I'm really bored right now thinking of buying Hawk, but I don't want to spend my tokens. It's a bad feeling. The only other new card I kind of want is Shadow King. I always feel bad spending my... Yeah, the Hawk came at least. He came a little bit late, but he did come. I think right now Hawk is shining, but I think if Zabu gets nerfed, he won't be anywhere near. If we can turn this one around, this one is huge. This is a comeback. So if we do our Devil Dino here, and then Hawk to the right. So then even if he buffs up this lane, he's good. You think Hawk left instead? Is Hawk bigger? Hawk is going to be 17 power. Yeah, Hawk will be bigger. Now, if he uses something like Arrow and pulls both of these cards to mid, we lose. So do we protect against that? We'll have a smaller Devil Dino. We'll have a smaller Devil Dino, but I don't think we need it with this location. He didn't have the Space Stone to move any of these cards out. But I think this protects from a last turn Arrow. Now we're going to lock it in. The Thanos, which is huge. The Thanos is going to be massive. Can we outpower the massive Thanos by 1? Thank you guys for telling me telling me to do Hawk onto the left instead, because that was what we needed to find the win. Oh my gosh. Those are not my cubes, guys. Those are your cubes. Those are your cubes. Oh, you earned those. I had the misordering. You guys protected it there. That was such an unlucky Reality Stone to give us the extra energy to do that massive play. That was potential YouTube short. That one definitely is a potential. I'm gonna note it down so that like a couple weeks from now we can bring that one back. Super triggering to leech a Hella deck, and then they top deck Hella for turn 6. Yeah, that's losing whenever you drop leech to whatever they top decked does feel kind of rough. And knowing that they had to top deck it, I think is what makes it more tilting. So had you not leeched, you wouldn't know if they had it in hand or if they top decked it. But with leech, you know that they top decked it and that they just got lucky. So I agree. I can't run leech. I have such a hard time with it. So we could do several Korgs. We could bounce them all back into our hand with Beast. And then we'll have a lot of free Korgs drop on the board. Yeah, we're Mr. Positive finally. We are finally Mr. Positive. Let me make sure that I added those. Yeah. We're positive 9. It took a little while, but we got there. I've had someone leech my Red Skull and Typhoid Mary. It is always nice whenever it benefits you. Q, that game was insane. I'm glad that you were able to jump in. Oh man, I did not deserve to win that one. The Cursed Hawk. Yeah, and we top decked Hawk on the last turn, and the Project Pegasus gave us just enough power to be able to position it well. Up until that point, we were in an extremely losing position. So it was very, very unfortunate. But it was a very, very good game. Yeah, we're gonna get so many rocks onto the board here. Oh my gosh. If we can we're gonna send them nothing but rocks. We can now do the double rock slide. And I think we hold our Korgs. Yeah, the Reality Stone was very disappointing, Momo. We can do the double rock slide. Do we hold any of our Korgs to position them better and make sure we have a buffed up 0 cost 4 drops? No, it'd still be 1 cost. Put 1 mid. Oh, just save 1 and put 1 mid. This deck rocks. Okay, we're gonna do the double rock slide. They do have the cheap 4 cost cards. I'm hoping that they just haven't been able to draw into any of them. But oh, that one's tough. They can now play a lot of Hawks and rock slides. So no matter how many rocks we send them, they're gonna send us so many in return. Oh no. I think we do double Devil Dino here. And we're hoping for Hawk on this last turn. I don't know that we get it though. It's looking a little it's looking a little rocky here. It is definitely looking rocky. So the Absorbing Man to copy the rock slide, which will now retain that on reveal, and so next time they play it, it will be, oh man, they can, oh man. We have so many rocks in our deck. Oh no. We know that they have another Hawk. We could do the Mystique to copy it. Oh no. That is so many rocks. I wish they wouldn't have snapped, because I wanted to just let this one play out just for these are massive cards. Yeah, there's no way that we're winning this one now. They now have a Hawk into Sinister London to copy, plus a rock slide. No, plus an Absorbing Man. So we get 4 more rocks in our deck. So it brings us up to 16. They have another double. They have 4 Hawks. We're gonna leave this one. My gosh. Up until they dropped Hawk, we were feeling confident, but the double Zabu into the rock slide plus Hawk was huge. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're using that. Looked very similar to your deck, Pilk. Those were some massive Hawks. We'll try a couple more. I think this one might be the last one we use this deck for. Then we'll do 1 or 2 no turn 6 for you decks or games. Then I do have to jump over into a meeting. So the used Yondu, it destroyed the beast. So it could be the Death Wave. It could be Bayro. We're gonna go ahead and throw Black Widow out. Yeah, that was a beautiful scenario for him, Jamie. And I thought we had a good one. Had they snapped earlier, they could have gotten an extra cube from us, because I thought with all the rocks there was no doubt. And then Sussy, switching out Dino for Shang-Chi takes away one of the win conditions. Every once in a while it is really good and could win you the game, but I think Dino is more consistently strong. So the deck is built more around Hawk and Dino rather than just one, so that no matter what you draw into, you should be in a winnable position most of the time. And then Gamer, loved your Galactus video, by the way. Gonna try that one out for sure. That Galactus build felt a lot... To me, that Galactus build felt a lot better than the standard, like, very transparent, like, Electro Ramp style. Because then if Galactus doesn't go off, you just fold. And so that was my favorite take on Galactus so far. I don't have Null, so I haven't tried out Null in any of them. But I do really enjoy that Galactus build. Although I do feel a little bit bad whenever I Galactus their play line, but not as bad as like a Leech Leader. Not left that feeds his death. Oh, whoops. Momo, you're right. With the death wave and suspecting that it's a death wave, it is gonna feed it. Shadow King is a worse Valkyrie. I think it's gonna be. I think Shadow King's gonna be tough to build around. So if we Devil Dino this turn. Oh no, we're doing Sarah this turn. What am I? It's still turn 4. I thought I had moved it already. We're gonna do Sarah so we get the reduction. Next turn we could do Hawk and Mystique if we really think they're gonna look for a leader. Pilk. It doesn't count towards death, but I think what they were saying was it gives them another target for Killmonger. Yeah, it turns it into a 1-cost card. And so then if they do a Killmonger next, that'll take care of it. So next turn would be the last turn. They will have 4 cards in their deck. We could throw 2 more with Rock Slide. I like the idea of doing the double Hawk, but I also... We might do Hawk and then Coulson as well. And if they wave, we can do two cards on the last turn. Mystique, Hawk, Mystique, Rock Slide. Can we do all 3? It's only turn 5. We can only do 2 of them, right? Oh, Oh, like this? Pilk. Thank you, by the way. Thank you, by the way. Sequencing so you can Mystique. Yeah, I was thinking of doing the Devil Dino and the Mystique on the last turn, but it gives us a more flexible play line. You guys are absolutely right. Hawk is always better to do last. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll lock that one in. If they wave, we can play 2 cards on this last turn, no matter what cards they are. And so it is the She-Hulk. They did wave, so they could leader us here, but we have we don't have tempo. Hey TLSG, I've been using your Zabu Spidey Absorbing Man deck, over 200 games with it. It went up from 50 to 83 so far. That's huge. That's huge, Jesse. Incredibly consistent. And I actually have that She-Hulk variant on my alternate account. I do really like this one. I have that She-Hulk and the Pixel one on my other account. So we could Mystique into Rock Slide. Depending on where they... Mystique right, Rock Slide mid. We would Mystique... Oh yeah, that's right. If we Mystique to the right, then they will copy the blank Mystique. And so we beat the leader play here. Do we beat an Arrow instead? Arrow would pull them, what, both to the left? We buff up Hawk by 4. So it would be... So yeah, I think we win. Do we snap into it? Negative Zabu Surfer with Spidey and Absorbing. Actually, I may need to look at that list. I have a negative Zabu Surfer, but I didn't have Spidey and Absorbing in it. Oh, but if they have Death, that's right. But if okay, so we outpower the leader. We're not going to snap into it. We're just going to let it play. We will get the 1 cube. Let me see if I still have the Spider-Man 1 built. If not, I'll copy it. Actually, don't think I have it built anymore. I've tried so many different builds this season, just testing out different things. So which one are we going to delete? I think we're gonna delete this one. That one was good last season, but it's not so good this season. Let's copy the code from the Spider-Man one really quickly. And then I'll run that one for a couple of games. And so is this still how you built it? Let me switch over so that you can see it. Is this still how you guys, the one that you've been running with success? Is it the one that's over here on the right? I'm gonna switch the elements, but is that the one that you've been running for like from like 50 to 80 something? All right. Oh wait, this isn't the right one. That was a different one I tried. Okay, that's the one, right? Yeah, we overthought it that time, didn't Zell? Kanich, hey TLSG, thank you for your videos. I have a question. Is it worth it to buy Series 3 cards from the shop? You have 6 to 7 left to unlock 400 token rewards from the reserves. I think it's only worth it to buy the Series 3 cards if it's like a core card or something that you're really needing or wanting to finish off a build. Otherwise, you're only getting a net gain from that extra spot of you're spending 600 tokens on that extra 400 token reward spot. So I don't think I would, unless it's just like a core card. And then Savage, welcome. I overthought the last turn a lot. Ganesh, we got a stream sniper. I don't think we do. But I overthought the last turn a lot. I was trying to think around a potential leader, around a potential arrow, and then considering death into that mix as well. It was a very good game, Savage. No, I saw his name and decided to check afterwards. No, yeah, and you're okay. I don't think you were sniping. And so let's go ahead and jump over into a couple of games with the no turn 6 for you deck. Yeah, it's the same one. You've had a 70% win rate with it. That's huge. Hey, in your Dino Hawk deck, is there any decent replacement for Coulson? So it's actually not my deck. It's Pilk Enjoyers deck. But instead of Coulson, you could do something like a Bishop. It's not quite as consistent, but it's a decent push. And then Tess, hey TLSG, what's the best pool 5 card to buy right now? Right now, I think Hawk is all over the place, but I think Shuri is incredibly consistent in just raw power, raw value. A lot of times is a little bit more flexible to play around. What is the last collection level of Series 3? Anywhere from I think it averages around 3,000 collection level. I finished mine on my second account around 3,300. And so anywhere between there is usually pretty decent. So with the Sunspot, I think we push for Kamartaj and this far right lane. If we can lock down Kamartaj with a Spider-Man, then we can do a double Dr. Doom on the last turn. Yeah, I didn't have Death or Leader in hand. Yeah, I think if you had both, you might have been able to beat us depending on like the positioning. But I was trying to outmaneuver all of those play lines, and I was having a tough time with it. So we could do. Zabu's not going to reveal this turn, but that's okay. We don't necessarily need him to. What we need him there for is that last turn. And I thought about adding in a Moon Girl in this just as a kind of extra win condition. But right now, we're really relying on drawing into Spider-Man. So I think we're going to double Iceman. We're going to storm into the far right lane, and we're just hoping for the Spider-Man top deck. TLSG, are you also an enjoyer of Pilk? I actually haven't. I haven't tried it. They zeroed out their. Oh, this is a bot, right? No, not a bot. We'll take the cube. They misordered the Zero and Cosmo. I actually did that this morning and lost 8 cubes because of it. There's no worse feeling than zeroing the wrong target. Yep, it was a genuine mistake. I did it this morning against a Zabu Silver Surfer build where they had Wong, Mystique, and Silver Surfer on the last turn. And I just had to watch as they just obliterated me for 8 cubes. And I would rather lose to a good play than me misplaying. It's harder to swallow that way. Toby, hey, how's it going? Hope your family had good holidays, and don't worry about that loss to Bing. She'll get him next time. I forgot. It's the loss heard around the world. So I was actually watching a movie, and then I saw, that's why the turn 1 took so long. I was watching a movie, and I was testing out Cerebro 2, and oh my gosh, I forgot that M'Baku was in the deck, or else I wouldn't have moved Nightcrawler. We lost by 1. It is the loss heard around the world. It was a fun game. It was very, very close. But I've heard about it so many times since then. Bing's got us good on that one. We'll get him next time. Did I not Spidey emote? It definitely needs to be the Spidey emote. I lost by using Gamora on the same lane I played Cosmo. Cosmo is one of those cards that it can stab you in the back. What do we get if we draw? Or if we cycle our cards? Is there anything that we get that can be good? We can let this one go off. So, there's a couple of ways we could play this one. We could Widow Bite him back in the machine world. He draws his Widow Bite. With the Atelan, there's a chance that he only draws 1 card after they cycle, and that being the Widow's Bite. That's what we're going to try. And then we're not going to let him send anything back to us because we're going to change Machine World after that. I once zeroed out Electro, not realizing I canceled it. I canceled out his on reveal too. Zero is one of those that, like, it can be... they did draw into all 3 cards, unfortunately. But somewhere in their deck, there is a Widow's Bite that they'll have to play. So Cerebro 2 with M'Baku, the new meta, it's decent. I wouldn't say that it's really any better than the Nightcrawler version. Really, the only difference with M'Baku is that you take out Nightcrawler and you have a slight chance of finding your win con from inside of your deck. But I don't think it's like meta. It's consistent. It's just, I think the strength with Cerebro 2 is that it's really easy to identify if you are in a winning position or not. So you mitigate your losses. There's not really a time when you're playing into a deck and you gamble that 8Q game without knowing that you have that win con. And I think that's where that consistency piece comes in, is that you can climb with it pretty well just because you can really easily know your max power push and know if you can outpower the opponent. And then Savage, thoughts on pinning Hawk or continue roll for Absorbing Man? I don't know. They're both really, really good right now with Zabu. If you're limited but you have a higher chance of pulling Absorbing Man naturally from caches, I think I would push for Hawk in the shop and then hope that you draw into Absorbing Man. Absorbing Man is more likely to be reduced down to a Series 3 quicker than Hawk is to 4. And so I think Hawk would be the play there. Adam, new viewer here, loving your YouTube videos. You're my go-to Marvel Snap creator. Adam, that's huge. Thank you so much. I say this a lot, but as a creator, that's really the only thing that I can ask for. A lot of times I make content and I'm my own worst critic. So sometimes I'm like, should I even do this? But knowing that you guys are enjoying it and that there's value from it is what allows me to keep going. And so that's really the biggest thing. Savage Yeti. And then Raheen, you said, hey, do you think that Zabu decks are better than Surfer from last season? I think that Surfer is incredibly strong still. I think we've seen it die off a little bit, but I still think it is very, very strong. So we can either change the TVA location, but they haven't played anything. If they play a Zabu here and then just flood some 4 costs on the board, we could lose. Actually, we could do Storm, and then if they play Zabu here, then we just storm the TVA location as well with our Absorbing Man. We're chipping away at the 1 cube wins. Nothing here. This is why whenever I did a video on this deck, it took me so long to get the videos. A lot of times I can knock it out in 8 games and get 5 games worth of content that feel rewarding. This deck, there's so many early retreats and you force them into inopportune positions that it's just like 1 cube at a time and snow. So there's not a lot of surprise with this list. And so it was very, very hard to get the clips that were needed for that video. But overall, I think the deck is incredibly solid. The best Zabu deck so far. I think there's a couple of ways. So depending on what access, you have to cards, I think Pilk's version that we ran earlier in the video for that like consistency piece of being able to drop either or, I think is incredibly valuable. And outside of that, I think the discard deck is really good. I think a Zabu Silver Surfer is definitely in the works. I think a Zabu Silver Surfer, I think it's very transparent, but I also think it's very hard, or I think it's very strong. So you have to counter it with something like a Cosmo, or else you're kind of out in the open. And then something like this, where you block their last turn play, also has a lot of strengths as well. I'm hungry. Hey TLSG, it's me, Neven. I just changed my YouTube to my in-game name. Been wanting to do it for a while now. I'm hungry. I think I can make sure that I don't mispronounce this one. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you changed, and I'm glad that you let me know. Sometimes the names change, and I don't necessarily I don't know, so I don't know that it's you that I'm talking to. So thank you for letting me know. We could either storm to limit their play locations to just 1, but then we're not going to be able to Spider-Man or do anything big there. I think we still do. I'm going to storm. I'm going to storm into Muir Island, and then I think we still Iceman into Elysium. Next turn we do Jessica Jones there. We can do a last turn Doctor Doom into the Dark Dimension, and I think it gives us a lot of strengths. You've tried to build Sarah plus Zabu plus Surfer, but it felt not so strong. So I can pull up the list that I was testing out there. I think there's some definite deficits, and depending on how you build it, I think there's a couple of cool ways to do it. But the Sarah version I do think is a little bit tough. So what did they snap into? They have the flexibility of vision. That's good. Kaichu, hey, I miss you. I miss you too, Kaichu. I've retreated a fair share amount of times because of Iceman. Yeah, Iceman too. Whenever it disrupts your curve, can be awfully daunting. So I think we do Doctor Doom on 5. Well, I guess they could lead her this turn, right? How's Clarice doing? She's good. She's actually. We got her a dog bed, and so she's actually sleeping back there now. She avoids the dog bed like for the longest time. I think she thought she wasn't allowed to be on it, and so she's finally using it, which makes me feel good. We're gonna go ahead and do the Doctor Doom. That will cap out this lane. It will reduce the power of their lizard. If they use a leader, they'll copy this last turn play and not what we played before. So Vision moving over here would win. Do we push more power over there? I think we expect a leader. And we're pushing for the win in Dark Dimension. They could have Doctor Doom as well. Astro likes to play a lot of value stuff. And so typically I put him on like a Doctor Doom or a leader, sometimes a leech. I think we lose this one to a Doom and then a leader. That's what I'm gonna assume he's running. Is a Doom leader, a Doom and then leader this turn. I think we lose this one. We're gonna let it play out, but I do think we lose it. There's the Doom, and then the Odin. So not the Doom leader, but the Doom Odin. Oh no! So the play mid was the right call, right? Oh no! Oh man! We talked ourselves out of the winning play. That one's tough. Because we could have won that one. We should have won that one. I just misordered it. I talked myself out of it. That one was a close one. We'll go down to 8. Let's switch back into we'll do 1 or 2 more. I want to get the double Spider-Man lockdown at least once. Sometimes the first play is right. Yeah. Yep, sometimes the first play is right. But it's okay. I don't think, had we been in that position again, I don't think we would have made the right play line, no matter how many times we were put in that position. Moving forward, we can take that information and try to do it a little bit better, but at the moment, after losing multiple matches, second-guessing myself, I started following my gut. A lot of time, Ryan God, a lot of times following your gut, and that is one of the... I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. That's one of my strengths and weaknesses, I think. I think I have a good gut intuition, but then I start overthinking it, especially whenever I'm doing a stream. I find that whenever I'm doing a video, I do it a little bit less. But otherwise, I do feel like I go against my gut more often than not, especially on stream when I'm trying to make sure that my plays are the most optimal. And then we end up losing. We take 50/50s for 4 cubes. Toby, we do. We do take those. So, ooh. The Green Goblin. They're not running a Galactus deck, are they? They haven't ramped, so we will be able to Spider-Man this on 5. Then they'll only be able to play here on 6. And we can do a Doctor Doom to spread power. I'm okay with doing that. And unless they do a ramp component here this turn, then they won't be able to Galactus this game. And on turn 5, I just triple Spider-Man. Ben, every once in a while, the triple Spider-Man is all you need. So we can't top deck our Shang-Chi, right? Shang-Chi might have come in handy here. If they do a big Shuri play here and then copy it with a Taskmaster, then we'll end up losing this one. But we're not at any additional risk this time. How much time does it take to get every free-to-play card? Oh my gosh. That was just rude. But we protected ourselves from a Galactus. So if that is the play line that we thought they were going with... Okay, it was. I think they were trying to go for a no, like a no-tell Galactus deck or a no-ramp Galactus. And so by Spider-Manning in the Eternity range, they didn't have a location to play it. That 16 power Hobgoblin hurts, though. It always hurts whenever you get hit with a negative 16 Hobgoblin. And so we will take the 2 cubes. Negative 16 into retreat. Yeah. I think putting them on the Galactus play with the Green Goblin early probably was the right tell. But as far as getting every free-to-play card, so are you talking about both pull all the way through Series 3? If so, it takes without buying anything, I think it takes about 6 months. Because it's going to take about collection level 3,300 to 3,300. Getting to Series 3. Zen-Clone, thank you so much. I actually don't recognize that currency. It's 20,000 IDR. What currency is that? And your notification should pop up here in just a second. There we go. Thank you for the super chat. Love your content.
Love your content, TLSG.
Thank you so much, Zinclone. I appreciate it. As a creator, that's all that I could ask for. I'm at 3,334 with 1 card left. Yeah. Yeah, so it's around that. It's Indonesian. In Indonesia. Hey, it's Sowery. Sowery, are you still in the stream? Oh, and it doesn't necessarily matter the conversion. I just haven't seen the currency, so I didn't recognize it. Indonesian rupiah, according to Google. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for checking it out. So Sowery snapped. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because they were watching the stream or if they actually have the good hand. So I'm not gonna snap back into this one. The best meta deck for the season, John. I think we're still finding that out. I think we're still trying to figure out what the best meta deck is. I think Silver Surfer's still really strong. I think Ashuri Ramp is still really strong. Leech Leader's still okay, but people are figuring out how to play around it. What else do we have? Galactus is still really strong. And then really any version of Zabu are like the main ones that I'm seeing, but we don't know which one they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And so I think finding one that resonates with how you play is going to be more important than like a 2 or 3% win rate difference. Because if you enjoy it, you're going to tilt less, you're going to be able to play more games and consistently climb with that deck. And so I think right now we're in a pretty good spot meta-wise as far as just being able to play a large array of different decks. Would love to see your take on Surfer Zabu. Just found your channel and it's full of awesome info. Seth Anderson, thank you so much. I'm glad that you found the channel and that you're enjoying it. And I've started messing around with the Surfer Zabu. I'll pull up the list that I'm tinkering with right now, because I don't know if or when I would be able to cover it. And so after this game, I'll pull it up, just so that you kind of have an idea of what I'm working with or what I have in mind. So I think we need to storm this location. No, it's after turn 5. JM, I think a Zabu deck with Quinjet and Nick Fury is a good build. Using Mystique to get a copy of Quinjet's ability would lower the 6 cost cards. I think it could be. I think there's a decent way. Spider-Man, Absorbing Man, Lockdown right now. I think we wait until next turn, and then we do it on both. Can free-to-play players dominate the game? Kalki, I don't know that dominate is... I think they can have ways to build their cards that are absolutely able to win. The double storm. I wonder if they're going with the double, if they're going with the Spider-Man lockdown as well. So, if they're going with the double Spider-Man lockdown, then we lose, right? Depending on what we pull into in mid. We're gonna try it anyways. But I think I think it's harder to build. So you look for, as a free-to-play player, for me, I look for good flexible cards. So depending on what you're seeing in the meta. So right now, things like Scorpion, Lizard, Storm is usually a pretty decent one. And then tech cards like your Shang-Chi and your Jessica Jones allow you to do some more flexible play lines, even if you don't have that powerful explosive play. Being able to adapt to whatever deck you're running up against, I think has a lot of its own strengths and merits as well. Dad, we're still live. Yep, we are still live. And so we do get the double lockdown. They didn't play anything past the left flooded lane. And so we might get the 4 cubes here. I'm guessing maybe they didn't have what they needed, because they played Drax. Their Absorbing Man just copied their Drax. Oh no. Can we even win this one? Is this one winnable? 9 power puts us to 15. Oh yeah, we win this one by 5. Yeah, everyone can be successful, and any well-constructed deck can be successful. Yep, Jacob, I agree. As long as you can identify the winning and losing hands, the specific ones don't necessarily matter. And so this one will be 15. This was incredibly close. The Absorbing Man pool was huge for him. This will push us to 15. We'll tie here. We lose this lane by 1, and then we'll win this one by 5. So we win the tiebreaker. I think Sourie's just gonna stick it out just because they're a stream enjoyer. I do appreciate it, Sourie. I appreciate the good sportsmanship. Yeah, we win the tiebreaker. Just barely. It was very, very close. And we will take those. We are almost to 89. Let me play one more before we end the stream. Oh, actually, I almost got distracted and didn't show you guys. So this is the version of the Silver Surfer list that I'm working with right now. The cube donation the cube donation definitely helped us out there. So this is what I was kind of tinkering with and working with for the Zabu Silver Surfer. The one more cursed word. And so with this version, Zabu really only is useful for like a Wong Absorbing Man kind of wombo combo. It's not critical. And so if you play Zabu, Sourie, that was such a close game. The Absorbing Man into the Drax was massive. And so it was very, very close, Sourie. Yeah, I assumed that you stuck it out just for the donation. I appreciate it. But this one, for this version, Zabu is good for maybe one turn. You drop Wong typically pretty early, especially if you suspect that they're going to Enchantress or Rogue your Zabu. And that could take the heat away from your Wong. You can Wong into Mystique into your Silver Surfer to get a really big high roll. But the issue that I'm running up against is against Cosmo decks. Something that runs Cosmo and can identify where to drop it for that Wong last turn play does hurt this deck quite a bit. And so I climbed a little bit with this one yesterday, but I still think there's some tinkering that needs to be done. Why is there no Storm? For me, it's for the flexibility to be able to drop our Wong. We need a lot of space. So if we do the Zabu and Sarah, our Wong and Absorbing Man are both 1. So on the last turn, we'd be able to do Wong into Mystique, into Silver Surfer, and Absorbing Man. And so we need space to be able to do that. 0, it is just mainly for either a last turn play. If we drop everything else, he's an extra 3 power. Or we can use him to cancel out Maximus, which is what I've found that I use him for the most frequently. And you could do Storm instead of something like Polaris. I do like being able to pull their cards out of where they want. The Gambit deck, I don't know that I have a Gambit deck built, Kalki. I can show you the discard deck that I've been tinkering with. I think I put him in there. And so that's what I was, and I don't know if you need to grab like a screenshot or something. That's what I've been tinkering with. I'm still working out some of the kinks of it though. And this one is the one that I ended up taking out Gambit just because of all of the armors that I've been running into. He loses a lot of ground. And so maybe you can fit him in to this one instead of the Absorbing Man. Absorbing Man's really situational. I didn't find him too great. Sometimes you just get the high roll with the Zabu. But you might be able to take him out for a Gambit in like this version. But for me, Gambit is always hard to drop for 1 cost, especially if they have a lot of like weak cards on the board. At that point, I feel like I'm gambling rather than knowing exactly what kind of deck and power push I'm going to give. Jay Hawker, question. Pretty much just entered pool 3 and got Galactus in my shop. Should I save and get him or just pool 3 cards? I don't know that I would buy many pool 3 cards out of the shop. So just entering pool 3, you're going to get quite a few. And I think you would wait to figure out what you're still lacking or what you still need before you start spending your tokens on Series 3. If Galactus is a play line that you like to play, if you've seen it and it is a kind of play structure that seems to resonate well with you, I think Galactus is really strong. I think in this upcoming patch, he's not going to go anywhere. So at least one more month, I would imagine that he's going to be in a pretty good spot. But if that kind of play line is kind of boring, if it's kind of boring for you at least, then I don't know that it would be worth the purchase. For me, I enjoyed being able to build around and kind of take out those big games. But I don't think, with armor, with Cosmo, with Spider-Man, with Arrow, there's a lot of counters to Galactus, and so you have to find a way to use him well. Should Galactus be 6-0? I think at that point he's an issue in negative decks. You could ramp into a Mr. Negative, pull him out with like something like a Jane Foster, and I think that has weaknesses as well. Mr. Negative is one of those cards that makes it really hard to balance anything else. So if they ever drop Leader to a 0 cost, then he's good in Mr. Negative decks. He makes sense in Mr. Negative decks, and it's just it puts them in a really, really weird spot. Yeah, yeah. Imagine Mr. Negative into a Jane Foster, giving both a Galactus and a Null, so that you have that flexibility. There would be and then if you extend the game with Magic in, you could do so many like busted things. I think it would feel really bad to play against at 0 with both Null and him being at 0. I think that one would be really, really tough. So we could either keep cloning things, we could change the Sinister London location. Miniaturized Lab is locked down until the end of the game. I think we're gonna go Storm into Sinister London. We're going to take that one out. That way they're not going to be able to push extra cards into the Miniaturized Lab on the last turn. Yeah, plus the Iron Man. That would be such a good pull for your Jane Foster builds. Hawk or Galactus? Which one is better? I think right now, Hawk is more flexible. Hawk is a little bit harder to hard counter. Yes, you could Enchantress, you could Rogue, you could even Super Scroll. But being able to position those in the right way and on curve or on tempo is harder to do than just drop a Cosmo, a Polaris, a Debris, a Green Goblin, anything that can just completely derail Galactus. We could Absorbing Man this one and force them to not be able to play anywhere. But I think we do Jessica Jones here. All right, don't have Death, so I think I'm going to pass on Galactus. Yeah, Death I think is core for Galactus, just because it allows you to do such a big play. Even with Zabu Rampage, I didn't find much Super Scroll in the meta. I think most people don't have him. I think if more people had him, we would absolutely see it more often. Because I think right now he's pretty decent. You're seeing a lot of Zabu. You're seeing a lot of like Wongs and just pretty decent ongoing abilities. I teched him into a couple of builds, mainly like a negative Zabu Silver Surfer build, and he does pretty decently. There's some games where he just wins you the game, but it's similar. I don't know anybody else besides me that spent 6,000 tokens to unlock him, just because he's so situational. So they have a second Devil Dino here. And so we'll get the extra 4 out of the Absorbing Man. If we push 5 more with our Dr. Doom here, it's not huge. Yeah, I think 6,000 on Hawk is probably worth it. 6,000 on Super Scroll definitely has its deficits. So we have the Iceman that just hit all of our core cards. So they do have the Devil Dino. That's going to be a 15 power play here. We can't match 15 power. We get 4 more. That's 11. I don't think we can win this one without the Spider-Man. With this lane being locked down until the last turn, we're gonna jump out of this. I'm on the wrong screen, guys. We're gonna take the 1 cube loss. Let's jump over into one more, and then I do have to jump back over into work mode. I have a couple of meetings that I have to prep for that are coming up, but I have been enjoying being able to stream again. It's just finding a way to end it without it feeling short, and always feels like an issue. Galactus or Hawk for better choice. See the one more? Oh yeah, it's the one more. It's the curse word. It's the we're just gonna play one more into playing 10 more. Gabe, you have him pinned. Currently at 1,000. I think he's definitely strong right now, and is definitely a good buy if you have the tokens to spend or if you're pool 3 complete. Otherwise, it's going to take a really long time to get up to 6,000. Even with pool 3 complete, it still takes quite a while. Yeah, it's always the one more. That's my curse. That's gonna be my curse for forever. They do have Daredevil, so they could be going with the Galactus build. They could be going with the standard like Lockjaw or Lockdown build. Oh, the Electro. It is a Galactus. So if we lock down a lane this turn, you'll unpin it, 2,000 collection. Yeah. At that point, getting 6,000 is going to take a very long time, and so I don't know that at that point he would even still be strong. So here we can expect maybe one more card here, and then a Galactus on 5. So I think we're going to Spider-Man into Machine World. That will give him a Spider-Man to use, but he can only use 1 card per turn. That will limit the space that he can play. He can't play Galactus this next turn, right? We're going to do Drax into the Citadel, knowing that they're going to try to stack their cards so that they can get Galactus off. The Sabretooth comes down. Oh no, they can do it. They can do it this turn. That's why I was going to Spider-Man last turn. What am I doing? Yeah. Yeah, he can Galactus this turn. We have initiative. So if he does Galactus, he'll have to do it here. He'll have the free Sabretooth, but we'll have initiative going into that last turn, which doesn't feel great. And then Rick, the stream's going well so far. It started off really slow. We had a couple of big cube games, but overall it's pretty decent. Can someone call your work and tell them you need more slacking time? Dad, I'll call your work if you call mine. We're gonna lock this in. He is most likely gonna snap into this. If he has Galactus, he knows that it can go off here. He knows that we only have the 1 turn. We will have initiative going into the last turn, so we won't be able to do Shang-Chi, which maybe we should have played it here. We could have done at least Shang-Chi on the last turn, but... What? Was it a Hopium draw? Yeah, it might have been a Hopium draw. I mean, we'll take it. We will absolutely take it. Is Atuma garbage? No, not necessarily. I think especially with... So I'm actually working on a build with Atuma in it, but I think he needs a couple of other cards as enablers. I think just as a card by himself, he's not great. But I do think there is a pretty cool Shuri build that he fits into incredibly. Yeah, I know. I said one more last time. That one didn't feel good. The retreat didn't feel good enough. And another one more. That is why we have the one more emote. But that's like my curse word. Yeah, without Shuri, you could... Shuri is how he helps the consistency. You could do him in any kind of like 0 build and he'd be okay. I think where he's really going to shine is into the Shuri, Atuma, Zabu kind of archetype. But I think he's okay in a 0 build, but he's very specific in what he's good at. After this turn, we'll cycle our cards back in. We're hoping for the Spider-Man, maybe even the Spider-Man Absorbing Man. We know that we're not going to have a chance to draw into our Chavez, so we have a little bit better shot, but we'll wait to see what we pull back into. You should say one last win instead of one last game. That's true, Orlando. Like, and we won that last game, but it didn't feel satisfying enough to count it. We do have our Shang-Chi for the Space Throne. We're going to be able to take out the Lizard fairly easily. We're going to hope for Spider-Man. We're going to hope for the Spider-Man top deck. I don't think it'll happen. The Nightcrawler is an interesting one off of the flip. I think I'm going to Shang-Chi his Lizard before it comes down. And then I'm going to change this location, make sure that we are outside of the Shang-Chi range. And then we're going to try to lean onto a Dr. Doom on the last turn. Ganesh, TLSG, what's your most loved location and most hated location? Oh, sorry, I was finishing cooking. No, Orlando, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. I didn't see you go online. Did I miss? Oh, Joe. We're 2 hours in. We have had a plethora of fun. Ooh, and the double Spider-Man comes down, which is fine. We do take out their Lizard before that happens. They're going to be able to play... Actually, no. They only have one more card in their hand. So they probably top deck Chavez here. So they could push a 9 power, but then they would only be competing for one lane. A Dr. Doom is not going to win them this lane either. I think we're okay here. I guess they do have Nightcrawler that can move across the board. Finally, a positive cube gain, and I missed it. It was a lot of back and forth. We actually played a couple of different decks today, and all of them were pretty decent. So they do play in the flooded lane. They play Chavez, and that is not enough to win for them. We do get the 3-lane 4-cube win. Maybe this has been the secret deck all along. So I featured it, and then it was doing really well, and then it kind of teetered off, and it was just doing okay. But this one pushed us up to 90, guys. We broke that 90 barrier. We have 10 more to go, and we have plenty of time to do it. That one is going to be the last one. I do have to prep for some meetings. I have to prep for some meetings back over in work mode. We actually only need 90 cubes, 89 cubes, and then we are free for the rest of the season. I like the list of the Hawk Dino list. Yeah, Dean, it is incredibly flexible. I actually ran that one at the start of this stream, and then yeah, this deck has been incredibly flexible, and so far we gained quite a few cubes with it in, I think, a shorter amount of time. But should I get Absorbing Man or focus on my pool 3? Stan, I think it depends on what pool 3 cards you already have. And Dean, the video on demand will be live as soon as we end the stream. So if you do want to go back and check it out, we now have the video over it, and then we have how it performed during the live as well. And so I am going to go ahead and jump off here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. All of the positive vibes, the positive cube gains, despite all of the fluctuation in the meta and all of the strain that there has been around Marvel Snap. You guys in this community have been just overwhelmingly positive. I don't know how we've been fortunate enough to carry that positivity over, but I am so glad to have all of you guys, and I will catch you guys either in tomorrow's video, or I guess tonight's video, or on no, it's the weekend. We're not gonna be live tomorrow. We're gonna try to push live again on Monday, so either on the next couple of videos or on our stream on Monday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.